HBO, so a lot of people in America didn't know who he was yet. Um, It's unlikely that former Attorney General Richard Thornburg knew what he was getting into when he agreed to be interviewed about American law by self-proclaimed British hip-hop journalist named Ali G. G begins. He's wearing a bright yellow Fubu tracksuit, a Tommy Hilfiger skull cap, and enough bling, gold teeth, rings, and chains to finance a small nation.
It's here with my main man, Governor Dick Thornburg, former Attorney General, who is here to explain about the law. So, when is it legal to murder someone?
Never, the stunt Thornburg answers.
What if they call your mom a hoe?
Ali G persists. You can't use as a defense any kind of verbal provocation, Thornburg explains patiently.
What if they say your mom is a hoe and I know because I've done it with her?
Ali G retorts.
Surely then you can pop a cap.
Thornburg pauses. It's a terrible thing to say, he allows, but you can't take another's life for slander.
Then what if they say about your nanny?
Again, Thornburg tries to explain. The former Attorney General is simply one in a long line of earnest public figures, including Newt Gingrich, Buzz Aldrin, and Ralph Nader, who've been ambushed by Canadian Sacha Baron Cohen, 32, and his alter ego, Ali G. Cohen, a white Jewish boy who attended Cambridge University, has been baffling interviewees and entertaining UK viewers since the Ali G show first aired on Britain's Channel 4 in 2000. Ali G would ask whatever pops into his spectacularly uninformed head. His well-crafted cluelessness has made him Britain's favorite comedian. Ali G now stars in his own hit film, Ali G Into House, has sold warehouses full of DVDs and shows, and is the proud author of a new book, The Gospel According to Ali G. It has his version of the Ten Commandments.
Do not diss Tupac. Respect your man.
And samples of his schoolwork, including a historical essay.
It is 1983, and the Vietnam War is still going strong.
Now Americans can witness the spectacle for themselves when the Ali G show premieres on HBO this Friday night. The variety show includes monologues by G himself, performances by music video-style Gucci dancers, and segments by Cohen's other characters, the painfully awkward Kazakh TV interviewer Borat, which that film is hysterical, and the flamboyant Austrian fashion reporter Bruno. Like Ali G, all Cohen's characters will have a knack for getting real people to answer the most inappropriate questions.
Will you have sexy intercourse with me?
Or I asked the dating service consultant, yet somehow Cohen manages to keep his stunned and sometimes perturbed victims engaged long enough, at least, to string together interviews and on-the-spot reporting into a half-hour show. His new material for HBO has a plethora of embarrassing moments. Speaking in his trademark UK ghetto slang, a Brit East Indian accent covered with hip-hopisms, he asks Newt Gingrich if he thinks there'll ever be a female president. Yes, Gingrich says.
Aren't you worried that she will spend all the time shopping for shoes and getting pictures?
Ali G asks. No, Gingrich says thoughtfully. I don't think that would be a danger. Then there's a sit-down with Buzz Aldrin, where Ali G asks,
what was it like to be the second man to walk the sun?
If you haven't seen that, you have to see it because break when Channel 4's 11 o'clock show discovered a tape of him conducting interviews as an Albanian reporter. Ali G was developed for the same program. His confusing racial identity
Is it because I is black?
recalcitrant subject has led some politically sensitive Britons to call him the new Al Jolson. But it's hard to decide if Ali G is an updated minstrel comic, a parody of minstrelsy, a critique of white Tupac wannabes, a riff on multi-ethnic marketing, or what, and that's clearly how he wants it. After humiliating so many interview subjects himself, it's understandable that Cohen rarely agrees to be on the other side of the mic, and will answer questions only as Ali G. When he spoke on the phone with Newsweek from London, his answers were perfectly in character. Will he ever move to America?
Is there jacuzzi there?
What do you hope to achieve?
My hopes my new show will increase understanding between the peoples, lead to world peace, and also give me the opportunity to have a one-off with a couple of my fly Playboy Mansion bitches that raise out my leaves.
One reason Ali G is going stateside is that he's become such a recognizable personality in Britain. It's nearly impossible for his production team to find unsuspecting interview subjects. Most Americans' exposure to him has been in his cameo as a starstruck driver in Madonna's music video. So far, Cohen and his team have no problem landing interviews with James Baker and ex-CIA head James Woolsey for the six-episode HBO series. The MO that Cohen and his writing partner, producer Dan Mazer, used to land such fish is top secret. Some victims say when they were approached, Ali G was represented as a reporter making educational programs for children. Oh my God, hide your kids. An aide to Gingrich said the show represented as a wait, sorry. Where did I go? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. An aide to Gingrich said the show was called A Way of Appealing to Young People. Even when subjects do sit down with Ali G, Borat, or Bruno, it doesn't always go smoothly. Nader's people were so furious after Ali G got him to rap during an interview that one aide reportedly said it might be grounds for a lawsuit. There have been walkouts and worse. At a white supremacist rally in Georgia, Bruno asked one participant if neo-Nazis use moisturizer. The guy attacked the cameraman, then reached for his gun. Most of the people Ali G interviews are reluctant to call him an idiot. They're often intimidated by his youthful, hip language. His intimidated by his youthful, hip language, his pseudo-street demeanor, and his tendency to mention
Racialism.
whenever things aren't going his way. It's all alien to relics like Al Haig, Ed Mace, both victims, or the United Nations representative who recently gave the reporter a tour. Ali G pointed to a seat marked Jordan.
He is stupid to let one sportsman have his own seat, no matter how powerful he is.
UN official. That's not Michael Jordan, it's the state of Jordan. Ali G.
Isn't it ridiculous to let one person have the same power as a whole country?
UN. It isn't, it's a state. Ali G.
Is it named after Michael Jordan? Is it a real country?
When Ali G gets through with us, we all may be asking the same question. I love that story. He was so funny, and I was worried about him doing it in character, but it all sort of worked out all right. And really, do I really want to get to the bottom of who Sacha Baron Cohen is, or do I want to do a piece with Ali G's voice? And I think I'd rather do a piece with Ali G's voice. But also, I think as I was hired at Newsweek as the music critic, and I have had a chance to interview a lot of really famous musicians, and also get some up-and-coming people. Like at the time when the White Stripes were kind of coming up, I got Jack White in there. I also really like going and doing stories that are more about subcultures and people that are either misrepresented or underrepresented in the media. Those are some of my favorite interviews because I think with celebrities you kind of get some stock answers and they're careful and they're edited, but when you do get so-called real people, I think those are the most interesting stories. of the Michael Jackson trial, I saw